Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Are you looking for the best way to promote your podcast? It's easy. Just advertise your podcast to your ideal target audience. That's right, listeners of similar podcasts. Podbean has the best and most cost-effective options for you. Just go to the website sponsorship.podbean.com/STR. That's right, your friends here at Scout Team Radio are hooking you up. Go to sponsorship.podbean.com/STR and you will get the best deals to get your podcast rolling. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Scout Team Radio.
Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday morning. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
All right, and the man on the other microphone, he is a great patriot. He is so patriotic, he could try out and actually be a wide receiver on the New England Patriots.
Yes, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fine Thursday, April the 18th, 2019, Loudbeard, and we got our 17 downloads and then some. We are now officially a podcast that has over 10,000 downloads, and I want to give out over 10,000 thank yous to all our listeners and all the support throughout the last year and a half.
Are you going to do those thank yous individually to each person that downloaded, so you thank them individually?
Yes, I will start now. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Gorglethorpe. Thank you, 272, I don't know.
Okay.
I ran out of names.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Very fine of you to thank all of those downloaders and listeners out there because...
Thank you, Bill Mafiosa 272.
Bill's Mafioso, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, starting it out hot. Well, it is nice to see that we did do such a great job with all of our downloads. Been a little bit of a journey, a little swerves here and there. We started with our night show, Wednesday nights, and then now it is evolved into a Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., daily morning sports talk radio show, and I love it, Chris America. And that doesn't even include all of our live listeners that we get each and every morning. So this is awesome.
Now we're doing good for ourselves. We keep growing and we keep getting bigger, and we couldn't do it without any of the support of you. So please keep sharing. Please keep telling people about Scout Team Radio.
Well, Chris America, I need to talk about something. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's very personal, and I had to get this out right away.
All right, let's do it. I'm here for you.
There's a report that's being passed around. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it on major news outlets, and I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. This thing is totally fake news, and I need to put a stop to it right now. So I will be writing my congressman. I will be writing the President of the United States. I'll be writing anybody who will listen to me. But there is an article that has been written that says, a study finds that men's beards have more germs than dogs' fur. And I take offense to that.
I did see this report. I saw this report, and I thought about sending it to you, but I knew your ego couldn't handle it.
Well, it's not about not handling it. It's fake news, Chris America. Hashtag this right now. I'm just letting you know this is fake news. First of all, the clinical studies were done in Switzerland. How un-American is that, Chris America?
That's true.
It's not even real American research we've done here.
But we do have Swiss watches.
And the researchers
and
took...
Swiss cheese is good.
It's got holes in it. It's not even real cheese. You can't even... What are you going to eat, air? It's got holes in it. That's fake cheese.
So you're saying this this report has holes in it?
There's lots of holes in this report, and I'm going to be doing the investigative breakdown into this report because there's no way that this could be true. There's just no way. They took samples of 18 men's beards. So they went on the streets.
That's it?
I'm going to improv some of the news of this story, like
Okay.
I like to do with all the stories that I read online. So I feel like they went onto the mean streets of Switzerland and picked up 18 homeless guys, brought them into the lab
Naturally.
and said, yes, this is all they had to do right here. They said, well, 18 homeless men, ages 18 to 76. I feel bad for the 76-year-old homeless man. We're going to go ahead and sample you, but we're going to only sample 18 men, but we're going to sample 30 different dogs. So now we get a larger sample size of the dogs than we do of the men's beards. And I think that's wrong. And it said 23 of the 30 dogs studied had a high amount of germs, but 7 of them only had a moderate amount. So what are they going to do? I'm sure they're just taking those 7 that were the clean dogs that just got washed
Well, they just
and
bathed them,
bathed
yeah.
by their owners. Can you tell I'm very upset about this?
Well, Loudbeard, I have a confession to make.
Go ahead.
You are absolutely right. That is exactly what happened in the study. And you know how I know this?
How do you know?
I'm the one who conducted the study. I'm so tired of calling you Loudbeard. I'm so tired of you and Mac and everybody else telling me how great beards are. I had to bring them down.
I saw a picture of you the other day. I saw you were looking a little scruffy.
I am looking like I did shave it off finally.
Ah!
But it's coming back again. The scruff is coming back.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I'm like, is he finally coming over to the dark side and becoming the bearded man that he knows he can live up to? That real man. Did Chris America's balls finally drop? That's what I was kind of wondering.
Geez.
And then all of a sudden you come on air and, oh yeah, I just shaved it off. Okay, lost that card pretty quickly there. So
You had high hopes, right?
yeah, I did have high hopes. So this said that every single man in this 18-man study had high levels of bacteria and bugs in their beards.
Okay, so I got to ask. Have
Yeah.
you ever had a bug stuck in your beard?
Not that I can think of. I'd never.
Like, there's never been
I'd
a
have-
time where you scratched your beard and a fly fell out or a mosquito or
No.
or like a wasp flew into it and got caught up in it and you were like freaking out.
I'll be honest with you. This is a true story. This happened one time. I was just kind of, I had a little itch on my chin, so I went to go scratch it, and you wouldn't believe it, but a damn bald eagle just flew right out of my beard, and it was beautiful. It was the most American thing that could ever happen. So screw the Swiss researcher, because I'm all American right here. Bald eagles flying out of my beard. No bugs here, my friend.
Nice. America.
God bless America. So I do need to bring up another fine American, Chris America. I can't just leave this one fine American out. And this fine American, he gets on Twitter, and he's a good friend of ours on Twitter. And I just wanted to thank him because this fine American, known as Memphis Spence, deserves a thank you this morning because he wants to know, he's hitting us up and he says, what? I don't get a thanks for downloading you guys? Well, Memphis Spence, Chris America only likes to thank Bill's Mafioso 21487. I like to thank our good friends like you, Memphis Spence. So Loudbeard thanks you. And Memphis Spence, just so you know, the beard news is all fake news, and I'm getting to the bottom of this, and I'm going to make sure that everybody in the world knows that that story is fake news, because you've got a beard also, like a real American.
See, here's the thing. Bill's Mafioso 272 and Gertrude and Karen and Larry, they never get thanks from us. Memphis Spence always gets thanks. He's almost like a co-host of the show. Him and Scotty Kaiser and Mike Burlon, there are Twitter co-hosts of the show. So I wanted to make sure all the other fans got appreciated, like Eli Manning's number one.
Nobody's going to recognize Eli Manning's number one because that right there is an atrocity. Just the name alone is garbage.
So just want to thank them.
Yeah, like our other fan that was listening, what was their name? Kim Kardashian's butt 234.
Yeah.
That right there, I mean, that listener was a very valuable listener to the show, and we really appreciate them listening in.
Yes, we thank all of our listeners, every last one of you. No matter how weird or funny or interesting you are, no matter who you root for, no matter how much you don't like our teams, we love you and we thank you.
Yes, that's very
and
nice,
we love
Chris
we love
America.
Canada too. Thank you to
We do
all
love
our
Canada.
Canadian. We're thanking all the people who downloaded our podcast. Thank you to all of the Barn Burner Network fans who have constantly come back and downloaded our. We're not even counting the Barn Burner downloads.
Nope. That's on a separate podcast network. We get a lot of great downloads there. And you can always catch us at barnburner.ca on their podcast network, or go to our podcast stream and just search Scout Team Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast, anywhere you find a podcast. It's right there for you. Or just hit up our website, scoutteamradio.com. A lot of great content on the website. Make sure you check that out when you get an opportunity. Chris America, check it out.
Check it out.
Now, I guess I'm going to just have to lead into it. We're talking beards, and we know that there's fake news out there. So I'm just going to talk about it. James Harden, the Beard, known affectionately by everybody that has a beard, knows him as the Beard, has a big night last night. Ends up with a triple-double, scores 32, 13, 10, and it looks like the Rockets are just going to run the Jazz out of the gym. Man, it's going to be an easy first round here. Rockets jump up 2-0 in this series, and they get off to like a 39-19 lead early in this one and never look back. And Harden looks like he's on the top of his game. Vintage Harden that I am really enjoying watching.
Yeah, and it looks like and he did all of that amazingly, Loudbeard, with a bird nest in his beard. He doesn't have bugs or germs. He just has birds nesting in there.
American Eagle, bald
Eagles,
eagle babies that he's
peregrine
nursing to being real.
falcons.
Yes.
Like he's got them all in there. That's one of the reasons why he's so unguardable, because there's like a peregrine falcon that like snaps at defenders when they try to steal the ball. It's crazy stuff. I wouldn't want my eyes poked out by a bald eagle.
He's also got like a griffin in there, a unicorn,
all
kinds of crazy animals.
Game of Thrones dragons.
He's the beard of dragons.
Yes, he is a bearded dragon. How is that not his nickname yet? The bearded dragon. Golly.
There's got to be an NBA player that gets that name eventually, right?
From hither to forth, James Harden on Scout Team Radio will be known as the bearded dragon.
Okay. Well, there you go. You calling a shot.
Hereforth hitherto unto this day, therefore thy thou'st.
All right. So speaking of your thou thou'st, it sounds like you're getting yourself warmed up for possibly another great poem today. Am I calling you out on your spot, or all of our listeners? I've been
talking
getting
about
hit
the
up on
Rockets game for a
Twitter
second.
at Scout Team
I
Radio.
gotta find it.
Okay, you
I gotta
wrote
step
it
away
down
from
on
the
a
computer.
napkin.
I wrote it down. It's in the
and
kitchen.
then you
I gotta go get it.
sneezed and you threw the napkin away. Now you've got to go through your trash can and find it. So I see what you're doing there. If our listeners haven't been paying attention, we've got big news. It's Poetry Week. And with Poetry Week,
Month.
Month. Oh, how could I dare? How dare I blasphemy on this Poetry Month? It has been Poetry Month, and Chris America has been delighting all of our listeners out there with his beautiful poems that he writes personally. It's handwritten. He writes them on a napkin, and he's a bleeding heart, and he puts it all out into his poems. And we're going to get the opportunity today to listen to another one of these great
ready?
poems. And I am excited. So, Chris America, why don't you take it away?
Okay, so this song is about flip-flops. Or not this song,
Wait,
sorry.
this song. No.
this
I don't want a
poem.
song. I want a
Yeah,
poem.
this poem is about flip-flops, okay?
Can I,
this
can
thing
I put
right-
some background beats for you?
If you want.
There we go. You don't like that
Should
one?
I get my bong? I should get my bongos out again. I forgot about the bongos.
Pull out your bongos.
Yeah, let me
I
pull
like
out my
the bongos,
bongos.
actually.
Let me get the bongos going. Hold on. Let me. Poetry,
I need to get some more background music. I only have like that
poetry
one loop.
bongos. Here we go. Hold on. Let me plug in. You keep talking about how great my poetry is.
Yeah, I gave you everything I had. I mean, I can only give you so many compliments. Oh, wait a second. I hear some beats in the background.
Okay, here we go.
Bongos I feel like they're gonna come out soon. Go.
Okay. This thing right here It's letting all the ladies know what guys talk about. You know, the finer things in life. Heh, heh, heh. Check it out. Oh, that dress so scandalous. And you know, others can't handle it. So you shaking that thing like who's the ish with a look in your eyes so devilish. You like to dance on the hip hop spots. And you cruise to connect the dots. Not just urban, she liked the pop, 'cause she was living La Vida Loca. She has dumps like a truck. Thighs like what? What? Baby, move your butt. But. And I'll poet it again. She has dumps like a truck. Thighs like what? What? All night long. Let me see that flip-flop thong. Thank you.
I'm just getting a little choked up over here. That was beautiful, man.
I know, it was beautiful. Sorry I didn't have it ready. Like I said, I was writing it down this morning while I was cooking breakfast, and I left it in the kitchen. But yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. When you write it on a napkin and it gets bacon grease on it, it's okay. It's still a beautiful poem, and the bacon grease actually adds a little bit of flavor to your poem.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
hey.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of flavor, I'm gonna talk again about sports because sometimes we talk about sports, not all the time, just sometimes. And last night, this guy, I don't get him, but Kyrie Irving, he helps his Celtics out. I guess he scores 37 points, whatever. It's kind of Kyrie performance. So the Celtics, they get a 2-0 lead in the series and they jump all over the Pacers, get a big victory, 99-91. Kind of boring game. Yeah, nothing special here to see. Your guy Kyrie, I guess he had an okay game.
Yeah, I mean, we did it again. They remembered how we said they got to get their act together and get going in playoff times, because if they come out sleeping, they're going to end up like the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're doing pretty good. Last night was kind of it was what you expected the first round of the playoffs to be, and it kind of sucks. The first few games were really, really good. And the last 2 nights have been kind of like, a bunch of blowouts.
Yeah, it has been disappointing. I mean, this game at 99-91 was one of the closer ones, but, the Celtics got a pretty good draw here with the Pacers. The Pacers had a good year even after Oladipo went out hurt, but it's one of those teams that I don't think anybody really thought they were going to make a whole lot of noise in the playoffs. They just don't have the firepower. They don't have enough talent, especially with Oladipo not being there in the playoff situations. They need that superstar. So Pacers was a good draw for the Celtics because, the Celtics, they can be their own worst enemy and they can shoot themselves in the foot over and over again. And when you're playing a team like the Pacers, you can recover from that. Now, when they get deeper in the playoffs, I think it's going to be a challenge for the Celtics because they're going to have to pull themselves together, be more of a team, and they're going to have to find their superstar, whether it's Kyrie or whoever steps up, and see what that ends up being. So, I mean, I guess right now it is Kyrie. Kyrie's that star, so he needs to carry this team.
You're giving Kyrie a lot of love, but Jason Tatum had himself a night last night, too. I mean, he was, I believe, the second leading scorer of the whole game with 26 points. Yeah, I mean, is it Bogdanovich? Is that how you say that name?
Yeah,
I need to watch
Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich.
Yep.
Bojan. He's got 23, and that's it. I mean, 26 points is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it isn't.
Especially for a forward.
So when the best player on the Pacers, you can't even pronounce his name. Does that really give you a warm and fuzzy?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so
I mean, I did nail it though. Come on, give me credit.
Yeah, you had to ask.
I mean, I had to ask you, but
and that's the problem with the Pacers. I mean, they've got good talent, Miles Turner and Bogdanovich, and these are guys that are good contributors. But when it comes down to it, they're sitting in an 0-2 hole against the Celtics. They don't have the firepower to come back from that. The Pacers, I'm going to put a fork in them. I don't know if it's fair or not for the Indiana Pacers, but I'm going to put a fork in them, say they're done.
Hold on, Loudbeard. I mean, they only lost by 8 points, and now they have to go back to the series. Like, you can't put a fork in a road team. The road team it's okay to go down. I mean, it's not okay, but sometimes teams go down 0-2, and it's hard to get a road win in the first 2 games of the playoffs. Don't put a fork in them just yet.
All right.
You can put a fork in the Pistons, though.
Can I? You're going to just count them out like that?
I mean, they got blown out twice, right?
Yeah, they did. So before we go to the Pistons game, which there's very, very little to talk about with that one, I saw this on Twitter. You know, Twitter people just like to throw out different things, and it's a kind of list which guard you think is the best, and it had Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving. And I looked through the thread, and it's unbelievable how many people kind of love, hate both Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving. And so you would see people like hating on Kyrie or hating on Russ. And it was kind of a little bit of an interesting take. Now, I had Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, and then Kyrie Irving because, you know, I love Kyrie Irving. But who would you put in that order if you, let's say, you had a playoff team that you were assembling? You're a great GM, Chris America. Chris America, the greatest GM of NBA history, and you wanted to pick a point guard of the future that would carry you to your championship. Would you take today Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, or Kyrie Irving?
That's tough. Because now I want to ask, are we living in one of the best point guard eras of all time? Like, has there been a year where there's been that solid of a choice among point guards?
I'm going to say yes to this, and I'm going to say it because I feel like minus maybe 4 or 5 point guards, you can make arguments for point guards on a lot of teams that are right there on this list of best point guards. A lot of people say, oh, Mike Conley's one of the most underrated point guards in the league. You know, if you actually put down a list of point guards, you could put Mike Conley at like 15 on that list. When you have guys like Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, when you have guys like Steph, I mean, there are a ton of good point guards in the league. You can make a list of 10 point guards or 15 and give arguments that all of them are that important to their team. So I agree with that, what your statement is, because I think in the 80s and then even in the 90s to a certain degree, a lot of times those point guards were only facilitators. You think of those John Stockton types, you didn't have as much of that like superstar point-getting point guard. And now all of a sudden the point guards have to be able to shoot threes, have to be able to score, have to be able to drive and facilitate other players and get their assists. So you're seeing more of that. We're living in a different time, Chris America, and you're right. I think this is the golden era for point guards.
Yes, sir. And to answer your question, I'm going to take an assist from our point guard, Scott Kaiser. He's saying Russ, and that there's no argument here. He is the best in the game. And I have to agree, like, if I'm just picking on talent alone and how good of a basketball player he is, it definitely has to go to Russell Westbrook, and it's not even close. The reason why there's the hesitation for me is even though he had LeBron James, Kyrie has that Game 6, Game 7 championship experience where he was throwing daggers in those games. Like, yes, LeBron James was good. Yes, LeBron James was there. But Kyrie was there, too, in his own right, and he was not missing shots. He was taking unbelievable shots. Like, he was just ice cold in Game 6 and 7 of that 3-1 comeback or down 1-3 comeback. So that's why I kind of hesitate with him there. And Damian Lillard, he's quickly rising up the best NBA players list. Like, he is skyrocketing up towards the top, and I'm excited to see where this guy's career goes.
Yeah, and Russ is the only one with an MVP on that list, right? Like, he was the MVP of the league. He's averaged a triple-double 3 years in a row.
Right.
There are parts of that are very important. He's polarizing, so I think a lot of people dislike his style of play or think that he's a stat patter. So a lot of people take that away from what he's doing.
My hesitation with him is just the playoffs. It's just not there. I mean, he's been on great teams, really good teams, and he's not been able to get his team over the hump. And that's my only hesitation with Russell Westbrook is he's been on some really good teams, and I understand the Warriors have been a little bit better, and that's tough to beat. But man, he's still my pick. But that's the reason
should I
why
add another
hesitate.
point guard to this? You mentioned Kyrie playing alongside of LeBron James in the
Yes.
finals, and he
Yes.
having that championship because he's the only guy on this list with a championship.
Yeah.
Should I add Mario Chalmers as another point guard that played alongside LeBron James and has championships because that's a qualification?
Well, I would have said Dellavedova, but sure.
Okay, Dellavedova, also very good. Quality choices here.
I thought you were going to go Lonzo Ball, to be honest with you.
No, Mario Chalmers, he was quality. He still
Yeah.
is. Yeah, okay. Okay, so
but
good.
Chalmers wasn't
conversation
scoring
there.
like 28 plus or 30 plus. Chalmers wasn't hitting threes in key moments of game 6 and 7. Like, that wasn't what Chalmers was doing. He wasn't doing what Kyrie was doing. Stop trying to steal Kyrie's credit, man.
I don't know. Those championship years with LeBron, you put Kyrie next to Chalmers. Is there much difference? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I can't even say that with a serious face. I'll be crucified if I say that. But, yeah, I mean, I know that Kyrie has some merit. I just put him at the bottom of the list, and I got some heat on Twitter when I responded to this tweet and said, whoa.
Yeah.
And I put Damian ahead of Russ. I love Russell Westbrook. I love what he does. I love his style of play. He's so aggressive, and, all the stats kind of show how important that man is. Yeah, maybe he takes too many shots and he misses. His percentages are pretty low, but he is an amazing player. So I could easily put Russell ahead of Damian Lillard easily, but it's a great argument to have because they are so close and so many people have different opinions on who is who and who should be where. So that's why I thought it'd be important to bring that up. So you were talking about the Pistons. Do we now we can transition over back to the Pistons, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah, but I mean Reggie Jackson had a big game, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay.
I didn't watch
So-
the game.
Okay, well, the Bucks, that number 1 seed going against the 8th seed, the Pistons. Blake Griffin's still sitting this one out, so the Pistons just don't have any firepower. I mean, when you look at who's leading that team, it's guys like Reggie Jackson. There's another guy on there that was a leading scorer that I was like, that guy? Really? That's who you're going to have on your team?
Yeah,
And
Luke Kennard, Andre
That's right,
Drummond,
Luke Kennard.
and Reggie Jackson, 19, 18, and 18.
Yep, that's not the recipe for success that the Pistons wanted. Congratulations to
No.
them for making the playoffs.
Not
but-
when Chris Middleton scoring 24, Giannis 26, and Eric Bledsoe 27.
Yeah, no, this is a balanced
Pat-
offensive attack.
Okay, so when Pat Connaughton is coming off the bench scoring as much as your leading scorer, that's not a good sign for you. He had 18
Hey,
as well.
he's not bad though.
No, he's not bad, but I
that
mean,
shows
come on,
the
he's,
depth of
he's-
the Bucks.
Yeah, it
and
does.
They have some scoring power, right? This is why they're the number 1 seed. This is why they have the best record. This is why the Bucks are where they're at because they have. Yes, Giannis is that superstar, so they have their leader right there with Giannis. But then you have a guy like Bledsoe who's contributing, a guy like Middleton who's that Robin to the Batman of Giannis, a guy that comes in and scores in bunches. You have a very good team. But again, you're going up against the Pistons, so the Bucks can have a great series and they could sweep the Pistons. And I don't think any NBA guy is going to give them the credit for that. They're going to say, well, it was the Pistons. We want to see what you can do when you have to play the Sixers or the Raptors. We want to see you actually be tested. So the Bucks, they're just kind of going through the steps right now, going through the motions. They're going to try to get through this series. But honestly, it's really not doing anything to help people think, okay, now the Bucks are for real. What are they going to do next? Because we know that they're good, but there's those question marks of that how many veterans are on their team and how much playoff experience they have. So this series really just doesn't mean anything. But I'm going to give the MVP to the Pistons right now. There's a player on the Pistons that deserves an MVP, Chris America.
Yeah, who's that?
It's Blake Griffin. He's been sitting on the bench the last 2 games, so he can't play. His knee's hurt, but he has gotten a technical in each of the games. You know why he gets a technical? Because he jumps off the bench and argues with the ref when he gets pissed off. And that right there, my friend, is how you become MVP of the Detroit Pistons.
Which, if your knee is hurt, what are you doing jumping off the bench?
Maybe he's one-legged, man. You can hop with one leg.
That's true.
I don't know. It's
well,
just
I would
knee
like
soreness.
I would like to say something to your point, though, Loudbeard. At least the Bucks are doing what the 1 seed is supposed to do. They're supposed to win 120-99 against the 8 seed. They're supposed to sweep. This is what it's supposed to look like. So, while yes, it doesn't really answer any of the question marks, it doesn't give you more question marks. You know what I mean? Like, if this was a 1-1 series right now, we'd be like, and like both games were close, or maybe the Pistons won by 10, we would be like, what's going on here? Why are the Bucks struggling against the Pistons?
Yeah, I mean, now that's what's happening in the West, right? Golden State loses that big lead, and the Clippers get a win on them. And so now everybody's like, oh, Golden State, they're done, including myself. I probably had said that. Like, what's going on with Golden State? These guys don't look like they're engaged. They don't look like they're ready. They don't have that same tenacity like they've had in the past. So the Golden State Warriors all of a sudden get a bunch of question marks around them.
Yep.
And a team like the Bucks, everybody's like, they're supposed to win, so they're winning. No question marks there. Let's see what they do in the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Chris America. Unbelievable. You know, I get into some NBA talk. I love me some NBA. I talk about beards and NBA, and those are two of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And something else I want to talk about after a quick commercial break is we got the NFL schedule released. There is one team on the NFL schedule, one team that did not get a single primetime game. I'll tell you who that is after a quick commercial break.
Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. Ah, 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Thank you all for listening in. Once again, you are listening to Scout Team Radio. I'm Loudbeard. He's Chris America. We bring it to you hot and live each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. on 12-ounce Sports Radio. Replay comes on the radio station at 12-ounce Sports Radio at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't catch the early morning, you can always catch it again at 11, or you can download the podcast. Podcast is available at the Barn Burner Podcast Network, barnburner.ca. You can catch that, or you can catch it at Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere you find a podcast, just search Scout Team Radio. Once you find us, you subscribe, you review, you rate, you do all of that fun stuff. It's a good time, I promise. Also, we like to get interactive. Hit us up on Twitter. Make sure you hit us up at Scout Team Radio on Twitter. We like to read your tweets on the air. We've already had a couple hot tweets coming in. We had one from Scott Kaiser. We had one from our good friend Memphis Spence, who is one of our 10,000 downloads. Thank you, Memphis Spence. And
Yes, become a Twitter
keep hitting us
co-host.
Twitter co-host. We love our Twitter co-hosts. Those guys, they bring it hot, and we want all of our listeners to get interactive. So if you're out there listening in, make sure
Don't
you hit
be
us up,
shy.
even if it's the podcast.
We're talking
You
to
can hit
you,
us up
Bill.
during the day. We're still
Yeah.
alive during that time. It's not just live at 6 a.m. We're alive during the rest of the day, alive at least, and
Yeah.
we can talk about it the following day. That is for sure.
We're talking to you, Bill Mafioso 3752.
Oh, no. I can't believe you did it. You
Pretty
talked
sure we've
about
changed his number like 15 times.
You talked about Bill's Mafioso. So I want to
817.
know what you, Bill's Mafioso, you can hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. I want to know what you feel when your Buffalo Bills were disrespected with the only team in the entire NFL that did not get a single primetime game. Though I guess there is an asterisk because they are going to play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I guess that would be kind of considered primetime.
Yeah, that's a prime time game.
But the rest of their schedule, not a single primetime. Do you think that's deservedly so?
Not to hate on the 716, but yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You're just not there yet. I mean, I can say that about my Carolina Panthers, too. Especially if Cam Newton doesn't play, we don't deserve a spotlight like that. Same with your Redskins, man. No offense, but unless you get that quarterback situation figured out, nobody really wants to see that.
It's a very good point. I will go ahead and agree with you on that. Now,
It's kind of what I like about college football, though, is that they schedule it. They kind of have like a looser schedule where the TVs kind of control it. So I like it that like they're not going to schedule a bunch of USC games at the beginning of the season and then you're stuck watching them. Now I know Sunday Night Football towards the end of the season they do have the flex option, but other than that, like Monday night and Thursday Night Football is set. It's locked in. There's no really changing it. So you're kind of stuck with some bad Monday night games from time to time, and you're stuck with some bad Thursday night games from time to time.
yeah, that is true, my friend. Now, the Browns, they get 4 primetime games. Is this
Deservedly
gonna be,
so.
That is deservedly so, isn't it?
Yeah, this
Now-
is going to be the most focused on team going into the season because of all of the acquisitions they've made, and it's been a crazy offseason for the Browns because it's different from every single year, and that's probably why we're also more excited about it, or that we're looking at them so closely because now it's like, wait, the Browns are actually making moves that make sense. And they're making moves that make me want to pick them to go deep in the playoffs and possibly make them my Super Bowl pick. But I don't want to because I look at this roster and then I look up at the top and it says Cleveland Browns next to the word roster. It's hard.
Now, I saw a question on Twitter that I'm going to pose to you. It's not original. I didn't make this up myself, but I saw somebody tweet it out, and it said, after the schedule was released, they said, should the Cleveland Browns rest their starters week 17?
Yes. Probably week 16. They
Crown
should-
them.
Yeah,
Crown
crown
'em.
them. Now,
So,
Ladbeard, have you seen some of the... So I'm pretty sure the NFL social media team got with all of the team social media teams and said, you guys need to create like some really creative videos announcing your schedules. Have you seen some of these videos? Like the Chargers did one where they did like stock videos of like different like if it was the Colts, you'd see this little baby colt, and if it was the Broncos, you'd see this like weird looking cowboy. And if it was like the Raiders, it was like this little kid with like a swirly mustache painted on his face, and he's looking goofy. And then my Carolina Panthers did one where they did like different video games, like they had like an NBA Jam matchup, but it would say like Green Bay versus Carolina, and then they would do like an old school Madden to show like the next matchup, and it was kind of cool. I haven't seen all of them, but I'm assuming all 32 teams released some sort of video like this. Have you seen any of them?
Oh yeah, the Chargers one was funny. I watched that one.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good one, and yeah, I like that. That makes it fun, right? Like
To me,
this
that
is
made
a
it more
non-sporting
fun
event.
than like that made it more fun than watching some stupid hour-long schedule reveal show on NFL Network or ESPN or whatever. I don't get as excited for the schedule release because number one, it's kind of already known what it's going to be, and I don't go to the games, so there's really nothing for me to do other than just to say, okay, like I'll look at that when the time arrives. But right now it's April, and I'm more like looking forward to the draft and NBA playoffs and what the Rays are doing, surprising everybody. That's where my focus is. But I know a lot of people love the NFL schedule release, and I was glad to see that the NFL took like a different take this year with the different videos. It was kind of cool. It made me a little bit excited for the NFL release thing because it made me want to watch all the videos.
Yeah, no, that is a good part. Now, I always look at the first game of the season because that first game, that's where you get a lot of hype. So September 5th is the first game of the season, and we're going to get the chance to see the Bears versus the Packers. That is going to be fun.
Yeah, Bears versus Packers again. Is that going to be the Sunday night game again?
No, that's a Thursday night. That's September.
That's a Thursday night game. Okay.
Remember, they kick it off the first Thursday. And
because remember the Bears and Packers opened up on Sunday night this past year, and that was the Pillgate game where Rodgers went out for a little while and then came back and won the game, and then you could tell he's been really doped up on a bunch of pills or morphine or whatever.
Nah, see, I disagree with that whole thing. I think he went out and he had a can of spinach, and he squished it and squeezed it in his mouth, and he came back and he felt better than ever.
And he kissed his girl olive oil. That was a really bad Popeye impression.
No, I loved it. That was so good. It was so bad. It was so good. The two other things I wanted to talk about real quick, kind of in unison here, is strength of schedule, Chris America. I love when the NFL analyzes strength of schedule.
Oh, yeah, because that matters so much to the playoff committee in the NFL.
It does. Yes, the 13 men get into a room and they say, well, the Patriots, maybe. So analyzing the schedule, the New England Patriots have the easiest strength of schedule. They do not play a playoff team until week 9 of the season. Is that kind of sucky because you know they're going to be back? Or is that part of them being in a terrible conference?
I mean, it's part of it is just their division sucks.
Yeah.
But usually the theory is that the NFL is supposed to make the Super Bowl champion schedule the hardest and the last place teams the easiest. The problem with that theory is that they have 6 games they have to play every year. And then they have 4 games that is on rotation with the NFC. So that leaves you with only 6 games to kind of play around with and make happen. So if their first 9 games are against it's like 6 divisional games, and then you have the 4 teams, I don't know which cross NFC division they play this year. If those are all bad teams too, like if they're playing, I don't know, the NFC West where it's the 49ers, the Cardinals, and I mean the Rams are good and the Seahawks are okay. Maybe that was a bad choice. I'm trying to think of who's the worst division in the NFC right now. Maybe it's the NFC East right now with Washington having question marks. The Giants stink. What happens if what happens if Carson Wentz goes down for the Eagles? And then you're left with the Dallas Cowboys. They're up and down every other season.
8-8, book them.
Book them, Dano.
Well, you bring up a good point because they would have to face the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins twice. So automatically there you have competition against non-playoff teams. Yeah, that's your 6 games right there.
And then if you throw in like the Browns on their schedule, I don't know if they're on their schedule, but that's not a playoff team, but that's a good team. I mean, we're hoping it's a good team.
That's a good point. Now, if you look at the team with the toughest strength of schedule, it's kind of like the opposite of what you said. You take the worst team and you give them the easy schedule, and you take the best team and you give them the hard schedule. Well, the NFL wanted to troll a certain John Gruden, and so they gave the Raiders the hardest schedule based on the NFL's strength of schedule matrix.
Yeah, it's just so hard to say strength of schedule this far out of the season. I mean, every single year, one of the things we love about the NFL is there is a lot of parity in the NFL. Even though like the Patriots win it every year, the teams who make the playoffs shuffle in and out pretty decently. I want to say definitely better than the NBA. Baseball does a pretty decent job at shuffling them in, but they don't have as many teams get in, I don't think, as the NFL does. So I think it's really tough to say who's in, who's out. I mean, Jaguars last year, everybody was high on the Jaguars, and they were what, like a 4-12 team, 5 and I don't remember what they finished, 3 and something.
Right. Well, I mean, they were in the AFC Championship the year before. That we have so many situations in the NFL where you get these swaps where you go good year, bad year, good year, bad year. So you don't know each and every year. I mean, you could probably put money on the Patriots every year, but other than the Patriots, there's definitely some parity there. Now, Chris America, moving on from the NFL, I do want to say to you, I've got some good news and some bad news.
I want bad news first.
You want the bad? Okay. I figured that's where you're going to go because you've told me in the past several times that you want to hear the bad news first, and then you want to hear the good news.
Yes.
So the bad news is that the AAF has filed for bankruptcy.
God, I hate that so bad.
But I've got a good football news story for you that you're really going to enjoy.
Can we talk about that a second? This
Yes,
league
we can.
really ticked me off. And it's a lot of it because Bill Polian kicked us out of the Prescott box. And like,
if I see Bill Polian on the streets, he's dead to me, man. Dark alley, whooping
I
him.
almost feel like they shouldn't be allowed to file for bankruptcy. They should be charged with fraud. I mean, the fact that they lied to so many people and so many other businesses with how much money they had and everything they had going on. I mean, this is just straight fraud. They defrauded people into giving them free rent, letting them print out free signs. I mean, I don't know what their deal was with Starter or CBS or whoever was carrying their games, but I mean, you look at this and it's like they told people that the money was there and it wasn't. It's I don't want to say it's a Ponzi scheme, but it just was bad the way this thing ended.
So it was a typical big corporate world that they just give you a bunch of lies and smoke screens and all of that. So I'm going to give you a few of the details here.
Okay.
So they claim to have $11 million in assets. I'm sorry. $11 million in assets and $48.3 million in liabilities. So, they owe more than they have.
How much money did you say they owed?
$48.3 million in liabilities.
Well, the $11 million in assets is all those starter jackets I talked about.
Yes, it is all those starter jackets.
It's all those $150 starter jackets they were trying to sell at the game jersey stores or the shops or whatever inside the stadiums.
And
that's what that is.
And the amount of cash that they have on hand as the league, the company, $536,000 is all they have left.
That's insane. I honestly think that they shouldn't be allowed to file for bankruptcy, and I think this should all fall on Tom Dundon. He stepped up to the plate. He put his money in where his mouth is, and guess what? Now you should be stuck with the bill. I'm sorry, man. You're a billionaire. You can afford it. Pay UCF, pay the sign guy, pay Utah, pay whoever else you didn't pay, and move on with life.
That's not how it works. These bankruptcy
I
laws,
know.
they're designed so these billionaires don't have to pay these bills.
I understand. They hire the lobbyists and they make the rules to where they're protected more than the common man. So I get it, but it's not right.
These darn commoners. Okay, so that's the bad news, Chris America. And I can tell you're a little upset, so I need some good news for you.
I'm Chris America. I'm for the American people. I'm for the common man and the common business.
Now, the best news of the day that you're going to hear is that the prosecutor plans on releasing Robert Kraft's spa footage.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, look at you.
Saucy.
You're already, Googling it.
There hasn't been a video
I can
like
hear
this.
you typing away on your phone. Let me see the video.
There hasn't been a video this saucy and anticipated like One Night in Paris.
Oh, yeah. What about One Night in China?
Oh, yeah, that one too with X-Pac.
Oh, gross.
Doing the bucking bronco.
Yeah, he likes that bucking bronco.
That's his finishing move.
Yeah. I know, he does.
And you
He
picked
loves
it. You picked it in our draft.
I think it screwed me. It hurt me. Hurt
It
me in
really
that
did
draft.
hurt you.
I should have gone better than that. I should have known better.
Yeah, I went stink face. You went bucking bronco.
Oh,
And
the
I
stink
think
face.
that cost us.
I wanted the stink face. I would have picked it if I went the bucking bronco. Yeah, Maybe my strategy wasn't the best there.
Yeah. So what was the good news? Did you give the good news?
Yeah, the
video.
Robert
That's
Kraft
right.
video. The Robert
That's
Kraft
bad
video,
news,
some
man.
good
I don't wanna
news.
see that.
That's good news.
That's
I
bad
wanna see
news.
the
I don't want to
video.
see that. Nobody wants to see that. Come on.
Yeah, it's your good news.
Golly.
Okay, I'll give you another good news story.
Yeah, give me
Maybe
something
this will
better
help you
than
out.
that, man.
All right, I'll give you a good news story. So there's a gentleman by the name of Nolan Ellingberg. He works for the Duke Athletics Department, and he thought that it would be a good idea to have a really fantastic gender reveal. So he gets his
Okay.
wife, and he's like, how are we going to do this gender reveal? So he's like, well, let me reach out. I work for the athletics department. Let me reach out to Zion and see if he'll help us out. So he puts out a video, and the gender reveal is Zion dunking a basketball that's kind of full of confetti. So as soon as he dunks it, it blows up with the color of the baby, the gender reveal. So the gender reveal has Zion Williamson coming up and dunking a basketball and a confetti explosion of blue, and that is their gender reveal. Now, if Zion ends up being the person that we think he can be, if he ends up being anywhere close to being like a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan, it's a little premature to say that, but if he does, imagine like going back 20 years and saying like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan did my gender reveal. Like, this could be something of legends moving forward, but Zion is a huge name to have done that for you. So I saw that and I just thought it was a cool story.
Well, it is big, Loudbeard, but they didn't do it right. They didn't do it the right way.
No.
You know how they should have done it? You know how they
No.
should have done it? They should have put Zion in some shoes, one pink and one blue, and he should have dribbled the basketball to the right, make a cut, and whichever shoe blows out is which baby they're going to have. So
he
the
could have
blue
had like
shoe
pink
blows out.
sock and blue sock, and his foot
No, a blue
explodes out
shoe,
of the shoe.
a blue shoe, and just and then like maybe you put like confetti and some sort of like contraption where it's kind of like one of those pop guns that pop out confetti, and when his shoe explodes, like the confetti pops out. Yeah.
You better
Mike,
reach out to Nolan because they need to do this. Are we? Maybe
is
the next
is that
guy.
not a better idea?
That's a 10 times better idea.
Come on. They missed
Your
the
imagination
boat on
is,
that one.
It's working for you.
Yeah. So Mike Berlon checking in. He said, learned a valuable lesson on the Bronco. Loudbeard never trusts me. Mike Berlon, it's good to see you. I didn't think we would see you today because Mike Berlon 6 hours ago tweeted bourbon drunk on a Wednesday night. So good to see you, Mike Berlon. 6 hours
How do you
later.
know he's not still bourbon drunk?
He could be still bourbon drunk. I don't know.
Oh man, now
But it's
he
good
might
to see
get
him
bourbon
again.
drunk tonight. They got their show Thursday night.
They do. Look for their show, Craft Brewed Sports. You can find them on Facebook. They do Facebook Live. But me, Loudbeard, I like to listen on 12-Ounce Sports Radio, 12ozsportsradio.com, and support the station. And mostly because I can't be on my phone when I'm watching them on Facebook Live. Like, I have to watch it, or like I can't go text message somebody. I turn off the show. So I listen on 12ozsportsradio.com, and that's it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And you're getting some props out there from Memphis Spence.
Yeah.
He said that's brilliant. You can also check out Memphis Spence's show.
Yeah,
Every
he's on
day, noon.
12ozsportsradio.com at noon. And then you go over to Craft Brewed Sports at 8:30. Find out what beer they're drinking and all their fun stuff they got going on.
Yep, absolutely. So there was some hockey last night, Chris America. We can't just have a full show during the NHL playoffs and not talk a little hockey. So we got 2 minutes left. Going to talk a little hockey. So the Avalanche get a big overtime winner to push the Flames to the brink of elimination. They get the 3-2 win last night. The Bruins tie up the series with the Leafs after a 6-4 victory, and the Dallas Stars get a lopsided 5-1 win over the Predators to even the series. So tons of NHL action last night. But you're right. You said it yesterday. After our Lightning got eliminated, it just doesn't feel the same, does it?
No.
I've got
No,
a
it
hangover from that. It's just not
still
going away.
I still just can't. You brought up hockey and now I'm depressed again, Loudbeard. I need to go back to exploding shoe gender reveal party thoughts for a minute.
Okay. Well, if you were a Pelicans fan, you should still be depressed. But their new executive vice president, David Griffin, he came out and said that he's very hopeful that he's going to be able to talk Anthony Davis into staying with the Pelicans. If you were a Pelicans fan, could you have a little bit of hope right now since your whole Lightning situation fell apart?
No, because I don't trust NBA superstars until they've signed. Until there's like an ink deal, until there's a Woj bomb that says Anthony Davis signs extension for X amount of years. I don't believe NBA players.
Yeah, I don't believe him either. There was a 60-minute special that came out, and it showed the Golden State Warriors, and the guy asked, he's like, oh, what it'll be like can you guys imagine playing for another team other than this team? He said some question like that. And all of a sudden, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson got real quiet and like put their heads down. And it had like Andre Iguodala and Steph Curry, and they're all laughing and talking about, oh no, we talked to some of the rookies about how great it is to be on such a great team. And Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson both started like looking away, looking down, didn't want to answer the question. Those guys are gone, man. I'm just telling you right now. I saw the body language. I'm a body language reader.
Oh, you are an expert.
Those two guys are gone, man.
You're a body language extraordinaire, and just like those two guys that are gone, this episode's gone, Loudbeard.
I can't believe it happened that quick.
Yeah.
Man, I can't. I'm worried that I'm not going to see you tomorrow because they're going to release that Bob Kraft footage, and you're going to be up all night.
Bringing me down right out the door. Just bringing me down right out the door.
Bourbon drunk / Bob Kraft drunk. Hey, what's up there, listeners? This is your friendly neighborhood Loudbeard, and I'm here to tell you that there's two type of people in the world, those that are on a podcast and those that want to be on a podcast. And if you are one of those out there that want to be on a podcast, one of the first decisions you will need to make is which podcast host you want to use. That's right. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you need to check out Podbean. Here at Scout Team Radio, we have been using Podbean since the very beginning, and we absolutely love it. They are easy to use, and they have affordable options. Just go to podbean.com/STR. That's right, Scout Team Radio. Podbean.com/STR to get started today. What are you waiting for?